Hello, Booknerds. Welcome to the Booknerds podcast. We are in our live avatar, and I'm glad to do this podcast because I have already hosted Yash. I think a couple of years back
Yes,
with a different book. It was about war and
yes.
the futility of war. That was a very interesting book. But this time around, Yash is back. By the way, for those of you who don't know about him, I would like to tell you he's a global youth mentor. So he connects very well with Gen Z, and he is a best-selling author, award-winning public speaker. He has spoken at the biggest platforms that are around, including Josh Talks and TEDx. He is a mental health advocate. And if you go on YouTube and search Yash Tiwari Josh Talks, you'll know what I mean. It's pretty easy to find him. What I love about him that he has the hustle and he's very passionate about what he does. And with that passion and the energy that he has got, which I really long for, he has written this book. It's called The Mindful Revival, and I would like to show you the cover. Beautiful cover. Uh,
Thank you.
it's about the subtitle says habits for lasting change in 50 days. And so many of us would gladly want to, follow this book and change our entire lives. It's easier said than done, by the way. We'll get to all the great things about the book and, of course, how the making of it, because I was personally astounded. First of all, by the topic, not really, because I knew that you will come up with something big, but this was like
Thank you.
a very welcome surprise. Um, Also, knowing that you are busy like every day of the year, how did you manage to write this book? That is a separate topic altogether. Okay, how are you doing? How are you feeling about
Yeah,
with the launch of the book? How does it feel?
I am very excited. First of all, thank you so much for such a warm welcome. I mean, it is always a joy to talk with you, regardless of whether it is about a book or not. But to be talking about a book specifically is certainly a delight that I feel very excited about. So, thank you so much for that and for inviting me on the platform again. And I am doing great. I'm pretty excited. I mean, the 50 days journey I have listed in this book itself, it is very much about starting something on a positive note in the new year, right? So that is how it has been for me as well. I'm not gonna say if I've been doing the exact same activities because I've already tried them out. That is why I wrote about it. But yes, it has been a journey in the new year that I myself am trying to learn more through, that I'm myself trying to explore more through, and that's how it has been, at least over the past few weeks.
I mean, it's if you look at the index itself, there is so much to read about in the book. Although I really appreciated that you have kept the chapters very short, which
Yes.
is very easy for the youngsters so well. That's why you have kept it
Yes.
very short.
There,
And
there
I
was
would
a
say
there
even,
was
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and
there was actually a very specific reason behind it, because I
Mhm.
wanted to keep the chapters not only numbered in the sense that we have 50 days, 50 chapters in that sense, but also the
Yeah.
length has to be so small that it feels like a bite-sized content to you. You are not
Mhm.
required to sit for 2 hours to complete one single chapter and then go on to the next day. आज के Gen
Right.
Z का, आज के youngsters का, we know the attention span. So it has to be so crisp that they get the message. It feels like an Instagram reel, and then you can move on to the next day.
Actually, to take in such information and quickly, this was the best format, and I love the format. In fact, I suggested the format to someone I know to write their own book very recently. So as soon as I got this book, I was like, okay, do this book, this way. This is the perfect way, because there are reflections at the end of the chapters, which is very
Yeah.
easy to kind of go back to and sort of, it is revision, right? It is like revision when you're studying for an exam. So it's like that. And I would say that you have also kind of um, made it very clear that read this book in 50 days, you know
Yes.
and I could make sense of it all because I tried reading it in its entirety because I had to do the session, I had to read it.
Of
But
course.
I could realize that, why one should not go to the next step, because it's a very gradual, although fast, because 50
Journey.
days, it's
Yeah.
nothing, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, the one of the parts which was very interesting for me about the book was actually in the initial pages itself, when you ask the reader to kind of just sit in peace with a piece of paper and write whatever he or she wants to, and then kind of reflect, because usually whenever we pick up a pen and paper, although we don't mostly, we pick up our laptops nowadays. But we are so distracted that we don't really talk to ourselves and look within. So, what was the thought behind it, and why kick off the book like this?
Yeah. Yes, so this actually harkens back to a statement you made at the very beginning of the session today, which is about embarking on a mindful journey, or rather a journey of mindfulness. It is easy, it is not as easy as it sounds to be. It is very easy to say that you have to improve yourself, but it can be very difficult. And I kind of wanted to break that myth. That was the goal. That no, it can be just as easy as it is to read a simple book. You can embark on that journey and improve various facets of your life, not just one, not just saying कि चलो ठीक है आज आप अपने self awareness को improve कर लोगे, but also working on the technical skills of your life, also working on the philosophical areas of your life, just
Mhm.
by starting with a simple step of talking with your own self, instead
Right.
of thinking that you have to depend on somebody else, instead of thinking that you
Mhm.
have to depend on an external source. I'm asking
Mhm.
you to just take a pen and paper and sit with yourself
Mhm.
and talk about who you are as honestly as you can be. Because if
Mhm.
you are doing that, I'm not saying how honestly you will do it, but if you do it as it is listed in the activity, the very first activity, one thing I can assure you is that the journey of mindfulness will not feel as difficult as it might have felt so far. It will
Mhm.
feel something that is within your grasp. It will feel something that is achievable, because you have
Mhm.
already created a roadmap for you that is in front of you in
Mhm.
the book, and you have
Mhm.
already created a drive for your own self, a fuel for your own self, that whenever you
Yeah.
feel worried, whenever you feel a bit
Mhm.
lost, you can look at
Mhm.
that piece of paper where you know where you were on the previous day, or 10 days before, or
Right.
30 days before, and that
Yeah.
becomes sort of like this level that you have already crossed, and now you're moving on to
Mhm.
the next one if you just keep on gradually following through the days. So that was
Yeah.
the basic idea behind it.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people, and there are several people I know who are talking about mindfulness and most people on ground I know are confused about it. What is mindfulness? Because most people
Yeah.
think that it is just to meditate, go in quiet,
Yeah.
which is very hard to do, right? I mean, in this day
I
and
know.
age
I
when
know.
we have got so many devices around, and we are going to talk about devices क्योंकि तुमने digital detox के बारे में भी बात किया है
Yes.
इस
Yes.
book में.
It's a part of
So,
it.
uh, what is mindfulness according to you in this age in 2025?
Yes.
How can one achieve it and sort of pursue it?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite questions about this topic, because yes, we talk about mindfulness. I mean, people talk about mindfulness and everybody can have their own opinions. I am not saying ki whatever I'm saying is the grammatical definition of it. I'm saying that in my personal opinion and in my experience while writing this book, the single most appropriate definition for the present time period that we are living in is that mindfulness is about this clear awareness that you have of the world within
Hmm.
yourself, but also
Hmm.
of the world around yourself. आजकल के यंगस्टर्स में एक ये जो आइडियोलॉजी है कि नहीं, आपको सिर्फ अपने बारे में फोकस करना है, यू जस्ट हैव टू फोकस ऑन हु यू आर, व्हाट यू वांट टू बी, हाउ यू
Hmm.
वांट टू बी. That is
Hmm.
also problematic, because then you are isolating yourself from the world,
Hmm.
then you are
Hmm.
separating yourself from the world. If you think
Hmm.
that even writing is sort of a process where you just sit with your laptop for hours upon hours straight, then that is a problem, because even for
Hmm.
writing, you have to communicate, you have to
Hmm.
have experiences. So, in a similar
Hmm.
way, when it comes to living a life, it cannot
Hmm.
be as simple as just being aware of what your strengths and weaknesses are.
Hmm.
It is
Hmm.
about developing, or if not, reviving some sort of a connectivity
Hmm.
that you might have lost with the world out there, with your
Hmm.
friends, with your
Hmm.
family, with your mentors, with your school, office, whatever the place might be where you frequently visit, and to feel like you are a part of a world wherein you are also respecting the space that you occupy. So that is what I personally consider mindfulness to be, wherein you have a clear awareness and respect for who you
Hmm.
are and the space you occupy, and you have a
Hmm.
clear awareness and value for the world that you are living in, and you are willing to connect with it rather than just criticize it constantly for the sake of it.
Yeah. Great definition, actually, because lots of people are confused about it. So I'm glad that you answered it. And when we cut a short out of it, more people will
Yeah,
listen to this, because it's all about that. I have to do it. I have to cut this part out and show it to people, to because most people go out after the first 5 minutes or something. So I have to do it. Anyways,
yeah,
that's another topic in itself. You talk about clutter a lot in the book. Cleaning your
yes.
environment, your desk, and I was like, immediately I cleaned my desk this morning because I couldn't do so. I came back from vacation and I was like, I have to do this. But after reading your book, I was like, ab to abhi karna hai. I have
करना
to
ही
do it.
पड़ेगा.
You are so I love that part, because it is clutter is not only on the desk, right? So tell us
Yeah.
more about that.
Yes, so clutter, I mean, I think it, of course, is in one of the activities, but also in these chapters that keep on coming in
Hmm.
between, you might have noticed, they are not
Yeah.
about any specific activities. They are simply about the
Hmm.
fact that you can seek inspiration from even the
Yeah.
most mundane, common objects
Hmm.
around you. So, in
Hmm.
the similar vein, I wanted to sort of communicate, rather start a dialogue with my readers that see, wherever you are right now, you can see 10 things around you, like in your immediate surrounding, that matter,
Hmm.
that genuinely
Hmm.
add value to your life. But you
Hmm.
also can see 20 things that you're just procrastinating about. Like, you know, they don't
Right.
matter. You are required to clean them up. It is just that, chalo, kal kar denge because kya hi fark
Hmm.
padta hai. The more
Hmm.
you keep on piling up these physical entities around you, the more you keep on piling up the psychological entities over here as well. Because
Hmm.
when you procrastinate on cleaning the physical environment, then you are
Hmm.
basically telling yourself that it is okay to live in an untidy surrounding, even if it might be internal, which can
Hmm.
equate to the fact that you're okay with living with the stress, you're okay with
Hmm.
living with the anxiety, with the tension, with
Hmm.
the depression, even, or the these bursts of depression every now and then, and you're not willing to do anything about it because क्या ही फर्क
Hmm.
पड़ता है. कुछ अच्छा
Hmm.
है ना उस पे फोकस बना है. The other things, if they are piling on, they are piling on. Who cares about it? So when you
Right.
start physically cleaning up your surrounding, even if the small things are being cleaned
Hmm.
out, those clutters
Hmm.
as we call them, it
Hmm.
just reminds you that it
Hmm.
does matter. Seeing that
Hmm.
clear surrounding, the clear environment, whether that is
Hmm.
external or internal, it adds
Hmm.
value to your life. It makes you feel better and feel more energetic about the life that you are living. So
Hmm.
that was the primary goal behind it.
That is such a valid point. I mean, it could be anywhere. It could be even digital, right? If you are
Yeah,
one is not organized digitally, then it can really create chaos, right? It could be
exactly.
since we are live on LinkedIn, it could be teams, work teams. It could be anything,
Exactly.
So that is something which is very dear to me, and I really appreciated that chapter. And I'm sure that people who read it will also feel the same way. Okay, another part which was very interesting for me, and it was the melody of me, that chapter.
Yeah.
you know, I love music, and I was like, oh my gosh, why haven't I done this before? So
Yeah.
basically, what happens in that chapter is, guys, whoever is watching, Yash says that find a room, make a song about yourself, and enjoy it. No holds barred, just dance or whatever you want to do. Just express
Be
yourself.
crazy about it. Be crazy.
Yeah.
Like you are supposed to be crazy about it.
Yes. Yes. So amazing thought, because we don't celebrate ourselves. We are always sort of in what do you call self criticizing, castigating mode. We are like, आज मैंने ये नहीं किया, आज I didn't. For example, I am in that mode of posting. I want to post more on LinkedIn, but I can't because I have a company to run and all of that. So I'm always criticizing myself. Why am I doing this? I need to have a better schedule. All those things. I need to complete my book, which is another. another, major factor. So tell us about this thought, creating a song out of
Yeah.
your
Yes.
achievements or whatever about yourself.
Sure, sure. So I actually was a student of Hindustani music when I was in school,
Okay.
like vocal
Okay.
music, specifically
Hmm.
singing verbally, and
Hmm.
that has always been a huge part of it. I mean, I'm not gonna admit that right now I sing a lot because maybe I do
Hmm.
when I'm alone, not too much publicly, but this was something which always has felt like a great outlet. It doesn't have to be very melodious. It doesn't have to be very, inspiring even. It just has to be something that you are doing for the sake of letting out the tension or anxiety that is bubbling within
Hmm.
you outside.
Hmm.
Now that can
Hmm.
happen, of course, with the songs that you listen to and you create your own,
Hmm.
karaoke or whatever sort of
Hmm.
covers on them. But when you
Hmm.
do a very interesting thing which has been listed in this chapter, wherein you are
Hmm.
creating your own song, maybe you are using
Hmm.
somebody else's melody as a template, but
Hmm.
आप उसमें अपने शब्द जोड़ रहे हैं, आप अपनी
Hmm.
जिंदगी की कहानी जोड़ रहे हैं. You are basically telling yourself that, wait, your life matters. Your life
Hmm.
is worth writing a song about. Yourself is worth
Hmm.
writing a song about. Whether or not
Hmm.
you are willing to share it with others just yet is your call. I'm not forcing you on
Hmm.
that. But the
Hmm.
fact that you are able to create a song about who you are just makes you appreciate yourself a little bit more, because you are
Hmm.
telling yourself that you are somebody worth writing a song about. And you have been on, I
Hmm.
think it is around the 25th or 26th day only. So if you have been
Yes.
on this journey, yeah, if you
Hmm.
have been on the journey of mindfulness already for more than few weeks, then it means that
Hmm.
you have covered a lot of ground. You
Hmm.
have moved
Hmm.
a lot ahead in your life,
Hmm.
and that is
Hmm.
worth celebrating about. Even if those might have been small milestones, they
Hmm.
are worth cherishing about. So that's what the chapter was all on.
Awesome chapter. I think so. It was a very noble thought. I loved it. And okay, let's talk about detox, and
Yeah.
which is so. I mean, I'm sure many people have made resolutions around this, because almost everybody that I know or I'm aware about has got a screen time of between 2 to 5 hours, and I call it a very good number right now these days,
It's
because
much
people
longer.
are,
It's much longer.
it is much longer. I
Yeah.
think I'm wrong. Maybe it's more,
Yeah.
right? So it could be more than 5 6 hours. It could be easily. So I'm trying to do that myself. I'll talk about what I'm doing later. But what is your thought on this? Because you have it in the book as well.
Yeah.
It's very important to
Yes.
connect with oneself. So how does one pursue that?
Yes, so I do not claim that in the modern world it is even possible to have 100% detox whatsoever. I'm not claiming that. If you are somebody who, let's say, works from home, who
Hmm.
literally works on this system, and you are working 7 days a week, hypothetically
Hmm.
speaking,
Yeah.
how can you possibly even imagine that a single day can be missed out for the sake of detoxing, if that is
Yeah.
gonna cost you some money from your own salary? So, in
Yeah.
that practical sense, in the
Hmm.
modern world that we are living in right now, because even the
Hmm.
professional work depends so much on the digital platforms,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
something you need to be aware of.
Hmm.
However,
Hmm.
alongside all the work that you do, alongside all the duties and obligations that you have to complete on your digital platforms,
Hmm.
I want you to take a very honest look, a very honest, acknowledging look about the way you even wake up. And the first thing that you do is you open your mobile phone, you start scrolling through the pictures, and the thought that is coming up in your mind is, अरे यार वो वहां घूमने निकल गया, ये यहाँ चले गए मूवी देखने के लिए, बस आप ही नहीं जा पा रहे हो. And apparently this is the first thought you are starting the day with. And
Yeah.
this thought, thankfully, is being enabled by the digital platforms right there in the palm of your hand.
Hmm.
This is what I'm trying to focus on. What are those small moments, maybe not even longer than 2 minutes or 5 minutes throughout
Hmm.
your day, that you are deliberately using to remind yourself how you are at a lesser pedestal as compared to others?
Hmm.
This is where the problem lies. If, let's say,
Hmm.
you are using a Kindle, hypothetically
Hmm.
speaking, to read a
Hmm.
book, and that book is adding so much knowledge to your mind. I'm not going to
Hmm.
say that that digital platform is harming you in any way, unless it's
Hmm.
harming your eyes literally. But if that is not
Hmm.
happening, it's totally fine to get hooked onto it. But if you are saying that you are using a certain platform for 5 hours a day just to scroll through
Hmm.
the reels and make sure that you are reminding yourself how
Hmm.
everybody else is progressing except for you.
Hmm.
That's where the
Hmm.
problem lies. So this is the form of detox we have to focus on, wherein you are not giving up on technological platforms suddenly, which is not practical
Hmm.
in the modern world.
Yeah.
You are just trying to deliberately distance yourself, at least in some days, from the
Hmm.
moments where you are allowing yourself to be judged or criticized by what you see on the platforms or what you try to look
Hmm.
on at the platforms, when you are searching
Hmm.
others, just staring at what others are doing, instead of maybe creating something constructive out of the opportunities that are also present
Hmm.
on the same platforms as well. So that was the
Yeah.
ideology behind it, keeping it simple but also
Yeah.
productive.
That's amazing. You talk about, not looking at blue light. I mean, the screens, 1 hour before, 45 minutes, 1 hour before,
Yes.
sleeping. And all those things are so valid. In fact, I have, kind of in the new year, I have bought this device just to do that. I mean, it's like a phone. It's called the
Okay.
Books Palma. And it's an e-ink device. It's like the Kindle, but it works like a phone. I
Yes.
mean, you can't call from it, but all those things like watching, listening to podcasts or reading, or all those things can be done on
This is
this.
interesting.
Listening to
Okay.
music.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do is kind of find a middle ground, where I can enjoy all these things, but I
Yeah.
don't have to harm my eyes, and I don't have to watch the glare of it all, the phone. So it's, I mean, there are several methods one can pursue those methods. I chose
And
an
just to
expensive
add,
method.
yeah, just to add to it, for those who want to, try out a very simple thing that you can also do, because we are talking about blue light, there is a little setting in your mobile phones and laptops as well, which, by the way, just automatically turns off the blue light and makes your screen appear a bit sepia. Not too much, but just a bit
Yes,
sepia after 6 or
yes,
7 p.m. I have that setting turned
yes.
on all of my digital platforms, at least around
uh,
the night time. Even if I am doing something on my mobile phones, it does
uh,
help a bit. I'm not gonna say it helps too much because it still is a glare, but it does
yes,
help a little bit. So that is maybe something that people can try out as
yes. नहीं, मैं इसका रिव्यू पोस्ट भी करूंगा, because it's
well.
something
Sure.
which is
Yeah,
like,
I want to try it
I'm
out.
it's man, it's an expensive solution, so I would recommend it to people, but I'm going to perhaps manufacture it one day. I don't know.
Sure.
so
Sure, sure.
so it's there are several methods. I mean, just spending quality time with your family, playing board games, all those things matter, and you have mentioned many of these things in the book, which is awesome. Okay, let's talk about the publisher, Hay House,
Yeah.
who has published you. They are such a
Yes.
great publisher. They are
Yes.
just lovely. What was that process like? Because I'm sure it
Yeah.
mustn't be easy. Was it what did they approach you, or you had sent out these emails?
Yeah. It was a bit mutual, to be very honest. The technicalities in that regards would be a bit collaborative, but
Hmm.
I mean, just getting that offer, just getting the confirmation that yeah, we are going ahead with this project, and more importantly, the collaboration itself. It just
Hmm.
made me smile for a couple of days. I must say, it made me smile very brightly, because we
Hmm.
know Hay House as this international platform that has published
Hmm.
some of the
Hmm.
most renowned, is at least the self-help books that we are aware of. They are by
Yes.
Hay House internationally
Hmm.
across various
Hmm.
countries, and so to be
Hmm.
a part of that family and to have this book come out was such a dream come true. And beyond that, I mean, I really have to appreciate the support that they have put in, especially in the
Hmm.
making of this book as well. Because
Hmm.
I'll be
Hmm.
absolutely honest, it was a collaborative process, even in the writing, editing part of it. The way in
Hmm.
which we collaboratively figured out how the structure should
Hmm.
be, what all can
Hmm.
be improved, how the initial drafts were, but how they can be made to be something that is very easy to grasp for the audience, but
Hmm.
also quick to grasp on regular
Hmm.
basis. It is not a
Hmm.
long journey that the readers have to go through on every single day. It
Yeah.
is a quick,
Yeah.
brisk journey that they are just getting to learn from.
Right.
So in that sense, it
Yeah.
was a joy as well to have that collaboration.
Awesome, because such, I mean, there are so many books out there now. It's the age of self-help and self-improvement books. Let's be honest about that. And what is your opinion on that? Is just reading self-help going to solve the problems of the world?
No,
How do you think about it? What do you think
no, no.
about it?
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, see, this is the irony, right? I am a public speaker, I am a motivational speaker, I have written a self help book, and yet I'm just being practically honest with you about the fact that if you think कि
Hmm.
आपकी जिंदगी के सारे ही राज एक self help book को पढ़ के खुल जाएंगे, then that is a delusion that you have to rid yourself of. It's as simple as that. I'm just being
Hmm.
honest. Hopefully, that adds to the sales of the
Hmm.
book as well. But apparently, yeah, I mean,
No, actually,
it
it's
has.
you're so right. You are so
Yeah,
right. It's another tool in your armor,
I
and
see.
it can't be.
I'm
Yeah.
just willing to push you on that journey. I'm just willing to let you know कि 50 days में वो जर्नी शुरू हो सकती है. अब आप
Uh,
अपनी जिंदगी में उसको कितना आगे लेकर जाते हैं ये तो आपके ऊपर है ना. I'm giving the tools to everyone over there, and based on that, some of them will learn, some of them will carry forward the ideas and the mindful,
hmm.
skills that they develop over these 50 days for the rest of their life as well. Others might not.
Hmm.
That's on you
Hmm.
because you also have been on the same journey. The point
Yeah.
of matter is how mindful, once again using the same word,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
remain to be about what all you have learned in the
Hmm.
longer run of your life.
Yeah.
That's what the idea of the book is all about. How you
Yeah.
can sustain the consistency you have maintained
Hmm.
over these 50 days while doing
Hmm.
small, making progresses, even if they might be small, on every single day, but not just for the
Hmm.
50 days, rather
Yeah.
taking them forward for the rest of your life as well. So that is how I look
Yeah.
at it. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to have this 50 days wala structure in the book so that you feel
Okay.
ki it's
Hmm.
achievable to start with and it is
Hmm.
also achievable to maintain consistency in the longer run.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is going to be a little personal. So if you don't have want to answer it, you are free to not answer it.
Okay, all
See,
right. Now I'm
you
excited
are
actually. Yeah.
you are so young, and around this age. I mean, I know most of the millennials at least. तुम तो Gen Z में आते हो ना, मतलब I think so.
Yeah. I
हाँ,
am 23 right now.
23. So Gen Z हो गया है. You are Gen Z, right? So a lot of us were just having fun, right? And we didn't have our lives figured out, and most of the people don't. So do you feel that you have missed out because you were so focused, you got so focused so early?
Hmm.
Do you miss that part of life, and what's going on there? Because do you manage to kind of set a balance between the fun of being 22, 23, 20, and sort
Yeah.
of doing all these things on the other hand, where you are
Yeah.
super focused, you are doing speeches, you are showing up at schools, colleges, talking to youngsters, writing books, and I'm sure you must have some like 10 odd things you want to achieve in life. I'm pretty sure about that. So tell us more about that front.
Yes, absolutely. See, I'll be bluntly honest about it. What I do is what I feel the deepest of passion for. And trust me, I'm not trying to be diplomatic about it. This is the absolute honesty. Telling stories, creating a positive impact through my words and my voice is what has always been a passion for me, what will always be a passion for me. I know this is what I live for. It's as simple as that. The ideology becomes very clear. And even when I
Mm,
look back at the first TED talk I delivered, which was
mm,
like when I was 16 years old, 17 years old,
mm,
I
mm,
remember that all of my fellow speakers, they were like 70 years old, 80 years old, 60 years old. They are renowned politicians, actors, academicians, sportsmen. And to be on that platform, to have the spotlight on me, some of them were asking, like, do I feel nervous? Do
mm,
I feel the jitters? And I felt very
mm.
clearly. I think I have shared about this anecdote with you previously as well. I
Yes,
felt
yes.
that,
It's on a
yeah, yeah.
previous podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I felt that I don't feel jittery at all. The only thing
Mm,
that I can define my feeling right now as is excitement to know that now
yeah.
millions upon billions of people around the world are looking at me and they are going to have a value added to their life just by what I'm speaking. So, in that
Mm,
sense, from that day onwards, I sort of set it very clearly in my mind and it kind of got engraved in my mind that this
mm,
is what I live for, this is what I breathe for,
mm,
to create
mm,
that positive impact or some inspirational impact through my words
mm,
and my voice. Now, to come to the other side of your question, the fun side of the 20s, I, once again, to be very honest, I do what I love to do. And in that sense, it becomes all encompassing, all consuming, but at the same time, as satisfying as it can be. I
mm,
have 10 nahi, 100 of aims and goals, and they are yet to be achieved. That is the journey I
mm.
want. So that is how I look at it.
So I think I underestimated you because but it's amazing, you know. I really, in some ways, I'm inspired because, you know, I get to talk to such people who are so motivated. And you know, there's a chapter in your book, The Joys of Reconnecting, where you sort
Yes.
of refer to, sometimes, you know, all of us disconnect from the people we know. They could be relatives, they could be friends. Perhaps because of the purpose we have in our life, sometimes we disconnect with them. So you say that one should reconnect with them.
Yeah.
It's quite it was quite something for me because I thought that most of us who have a purpose in life have to always stay disconnected and just look at the, you know, fish's eye, so as to say.
I totally agree with that. And at the same time, I also feel that the more you try to align your purpose with the world that you're living in, the easier it becomes to pursue that purpose as well. The easier it becomes to
Right.
remind yourself that you are living in a world where your purpose should not just be restricted to you, but it should also be adding smiles to the faces of those who are around you. Maybe they are your family members,
Right.
maybe they are your
Hmm.
community. But the more you remind yourself to stay connected with them, even if in small chunks, it just
Hmm.
makes you feel aware of the breaths you are having and that they
Hmm.
matter. And so you matter. So that is how it is.
Awesome, यश. तो अभी हमको ये भी बताना पड़ेगा सबको कि ये बुक कहाँ कहाँ अवेलेबल है, बिकॉज दे इफ
Yes,
दे वांट टू
absolutely.
बाय द बुक, सो डू लेट देम नो. एंड
Yes.
एक बार अपना हैंडल भी बता देना. वैसे तो एट यश तिवारी स्पीक्स ही है हर जगह, है ना?
Yes. And you can
Yeah.
also check out my website, which is www.yashtiwari.org. Now, the availability of the book, of course, in India, it is on Amazon.
Okay.
Internationally, it is on Walmart. And apart from that, you can also get the copies from physical bookstores. It has been distributed across India. So some of the most renowned platforms, of course, in Delhi NCR region to hai hi.
Hmm.
Especially the Penguin bookstores you can reach out to. There, the book
Okay.
has been distributed widely. And we are also going to be available at the upcoming literature festivals such as New Delhi World Book Fair. So there as
Okay.
well, you can get a signed copy if you'd like to.
Okay.
But yes, get a copy. Reach out
Yeah.
definitely with your
Yeah.
reviews. I'll be very eagerly awaiting the same as well.
Yeah. And you're going to be at the World Book Fair this time?
I am planning to. Yes, certainly planning
Okay.
to.
Okay. So I'm going to be there on 5th, so perhaps we'll meet.
Oh,
So
wonderful!
let's see.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly. We'll discuss about it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Yash, for talking to us. And so this book can't be covered in one session or one podcast, whatever. I would recommend that everybody read this book, and perhaps after 5 6 months we can have another session, you know, to talk about it. And
Sure.
the application of the book is more important rather than just reading it. So I
Yeah.
would suggest that people kind of, you know, bring it into their lifestyle and then sort of take it from there. Thank you so much, Yash, and thank you for being on the Book Nerds podcast. This live version has happened after a bit, so I'm glad that we are doing this. And yeah, guys, read the book. Let Yash know and on his socials about the book. What did you feel about it? Leave a review on Amazon if you can. That will help the
Yes.
author. And until next time, you know, we'll sort of see you with another author, another book. And till then, happy reading and happy writing, and be mindful while doing that. Thank you so much.